Hey, what's going on, you guys? In this podcast, it's going to be a very short story time. Now, this story time is going to be about the worst weed I have ever smoked in my life. Now, I've smoked a lot of good weed, but I've also smoked a lot of bad weed as well. Now, this story time has to be the worst, the most bottom shelf weed I've ever smoked in my life. Now, the first thing comes to mind is the $20 eighth. That's the very first thing that comes to mind. This happened very recently. This happened like a couple of months ago, I think. This happened like way before Christmas. Like this was around like November of 2020. If that's like my best guess. So it was a random day, right? And I'm broke as hell. I'm like, all right, I'm out of bud as well. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I only have a 25 and nobody sells eighths for $25 anymore. You know what I mean? Especially during the pandemic. Back in the day when like in the beginning, like in 2019, 2018, you can get a nice ass eighth for $25. You can get like an eighth that'll get you somewhat high. For $25. Meaning you can get a quad for 50. You feel me? And but nowadays everybody sells their eighths for 30 and above. So I'm trying to strategically have a plan. Now, whatchamacallit, I go to the Jamaica Avenue because that's the only place I can remember to get some cheap weed at. Because all the other plugs that I have, all of them are selling their eighths for their 30 and above. And I'm like, all right, let me get a dub. They're like, nah, dude, eighths and above. And nobody's trying to do under an eighth. So I'm like, all right, let me just go to like Jamaica Avenue. I live in New York City, by the way. But I go to Jamaica Avenue to get some more weed, whatchamacallit, and I see a couple dudes, they're like, yo, you need some gas? And I'm like, yeah, do you have an ace for 25? One of course said no. The other one was like, well, no, one was like, nah, I only sell for 30. You don't have $5 more? I'm like, not really, like I'm broke as hell. And whatchamacallit, the dude called up the other dude, and I can't remember what these dudes look like, but like, the other dude came up to me and he just pulled out like a bag of an eighth. And he was like, here, just take, he's like, just give me $20. And I'm like, all right, bet. I'm thinking I'm just going to get a dub, but he gave me a whole eighth. And I'm like, holy shit, eighth for $20. I was very hyped until I've tried it. I was very, very hype about it at first, so whatchamacallit, I grabbed the eighth for $20, and I get back home immediately, and the first thing I notice is the smell. It doesn't smell like an actual bud, and that's what kind of made me sus. But I'm like, you know what? I don't care. It's weed. I'm out of weed, and I'm fiending to get high at this point. So I threw it on the scale. It's a 3.5. I'm very surprised that I got an eighth for 20, and I'm like, holy shit, this is a very blessed. I can smoke all this in one sitting, and I kind of did. We're gonna get to that. So, I pack it back up, and I run back outside, and I'm taking bong rips, and the first thing I taste is emptiness. Like it's like a taste of like the weird type of taste. And I'm like coughing really hard. And I'm like, ugh. And I'm like, wait a minute. This shit is horrible. And like every hit I'm taking is just horrible. I'm just suffering at this point. And it's like, it's not because it's harsh. It's just the taste of it. It's just so horrible. Like, it was a little harsh, but like it wasn't like too bad, it was just very, very horrible in the taste. So I'm like, all right, I roll a J and I smoke it and I don't feel high at all. I'm like, whoa, like, I felt it, but like my high only lasted for like 5 minutes. I swear to God, it only lasted for like a good minute or two. And then after that, I felt sober again. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? This was the worst weed I've ever smoked. Like, right after I smoked the J, then I'm like, all right, I have a good couple nugs left in this shit. And I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling any buzz. Maybe if I, like, take a couple more bowl rips, maybe it might kick in right at random moments. Maybe this is the type of bud that just kicks in at random moments. So, I start packing bowls. I start taking hits. And then, by the time I get to my last bowl, I quickly realize, God damn, I smoked the entire eighth and I am not feeling high. I'm like, yo, this is like, I'm thinking it's either CBD or just some swag weed. Like, I'm thinking of two things. All right, this is CBD or this is just some brick ass weed from, like, not even Mexico. It's from brick weed from underground, dude. Like, it's just some trash, dude. Like, I almost got a headache from this weed, dude. Like, it was not cool. And I remember walking back inside, and I'm like, wait a minute, I don't feel high at all. Like, I'm just going, I'm like, fuck, I'm definitely not buying that eighth again, because now I quickly realize any dude that sells an eighth under $30 is gonna be some old chic swag, dude. Like, I don't even know. It was just worse. It was the worst bud I've ever smoked. But I went back inside and I go to bed and I realized I can't go to sleep. I'm like, oh, damn, this is not going to be good. Because I'm like, shit, I don't have any weed. I have a little tiny bit of money left, but I'm like, I want to save it for another day. That way, once I do deliveries, I have a little bit more money to work with. So I go to bed and I'm like, all right, I'm not buying that eighth ever again. And I eventually went to sleep and I woke up and I'm like, damn, dude, I basically just wasted like an hour of my time just sitting there not getting high. So, that's the story time for you guys today. It kind of sucks nowadays that the prices have raised up since the back in the day, since before the pandemic. A lot of, like, my friends told me it's because of a drought, and I'm like, damn, dude. So I'm like, all right, bet. So I hope you guys enjoyed the story time, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out.